but also I want to acknowledge my grandmother. My grandmother, her name was Rita Goldstein, and her father was Marcus Goldstein. So part of the reason I stand here today is because Jewish blood runs in my blood and runs in my body here today and runs through my family and whānau. And many of you are here today is because of that. And so we are here today because of relationship. We're here today not to make political statements, and we're not afraid of that because come as that may, what we're here today is number one is because inside of us we have a deep and longing relationship because of the blood relationship that exists within us as well. And so that's critically important. We're here today too, and for me also because faith becomes important. And you see, democratic societies are built on Judeo-Christian principles. In other words, they're principles that come out of the Bible, out of the Word of God, which are based in Israel and in Jewish history. And so when we enjoy democracy, it's because of what Israel has given to us. And we need to continue to remember that. And the connection to that for New Zealand, for Aotearoa, goes all the way back when, during that time of colonization, tangata whenua wanted to say that actually we want to still retain sovereignty. And then at that time in 1840, there was a missionary by the name of Henry Williams, who was the London Mission Society. And what he had to do was that somehow he needed to write an ability to translate this treaty into a way that both Maori and Pākehā could understand. And the only way that he could do that, and understanding what a true covenant relationship was to look into the Word of God. And from Ephesians chapter 2, it talked about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It talked about a covenant relationship. It talked about that if we were to form a relationship and a treaty, it wasn't just a financial agreement or an arrangement. It had to be something that was more than that. And so you see, part of the Treaty of Waitangi was signed on the principle of a covenant relationship, which again goes back to the understanding of the covenant between God and the people of Israel, and also to the way that we understand that too. Now, the truth be told is that even in covenant relationships, they can be broken, and so they need to be put together, but the principles never change. And so what we are doing even today in Aotearoa, New Zealand, is standing on the principles. So when we talk about where the treaty stands, in regards to many indigenous countries throughout the world, indigenous countries will look at New Zealand because of the treaty, and at the heart of the treaty are principles that need to be upheld. And so we all support the process that is going through at the moment. So the principles of the treaty, again, which are principles that come from a Judeo-Christian base as well, that's critically important. On the 31st of October in 1917, in the Battle of Beersheba, where there were the British Army that were there, and twice they had tried to get in through to the areas of Middle East and Palestine and so forth, and they couldn't make their way through. And on the third attempt, they asked for the support and the help of the Anzac troops, the Australian and the New Zealand troops. And inside of that, there was the Auckland Mounted Brigade. In other words, they were soldiers on horses. And on the southeast of that, on the 31st of October, what they did, they charged around the flank. And it's because of the work that they did, which was New Zealand troops, Auckland troops, and also two Australians, they managed to outflank them, which allowed for the British troops to come through. And so New Zealand have shed their blood in Israel. And so that's another connection that we have to the power of understanding what Israel means to who we are as a nation. So we have shed blood, Kiwi blood, on Israel. And so on the 31st of October in 1917 and 2017, they celebrated 100 years. And that's why New Zealand has this strong bond and this connection as well. Yes, well, that needs an applause. And so the wonderful thing about being in a democratic country is this, that we can be people of Jewish descent, we can be people who are Israelis, we can be people who have a connection, whether it be by faith or by blood, and we can have the freedom to gather here together, because what we are doing today is not a political statement, but it's a celebration of 70 years of independence of Israel. 70 years of independence as Israel. And so we need not be afraid to continue to declare that. We don't need to bang on metal drums. We don't need to shout on the horns. But what we do is this. We show our presence. We come along to these events. And wherever we are, we can make an influence to be able to declare this, that Israel as a nation and Zionism is about self-determination. Tino Rangatiratanga is about self-determination. And that's what it asks for. Now, we know that there are no perfect people. there are no perfect countries, but everybody deserves to have the opportunity to be self-determining and to determine that. And so we support today, and as we come into tomorrow, the 70 years that Israel has the right to be able to be self-determining as a country. We want to balance the perception that people have. You see, we don't always get the good news about the good things that happen in Israel. And the only way we can do that is that by you and I, and all of us that are here today, is that we all need to be champions in our homes, in our communities, in our workplaces, wherever we are. We need to be able to reflect the truth about what's going on at home in Israel as well. So I want to call upon you to do this. While tomorrow we celebrate 70 years of independence, to get to another 70 years, you and I and our children and our children's children need to be the champions to turn around and declare the nation of Israel being independent as a state. So I want to thank all the organisers for coming along. Thank everyone that is here. And can I declare this and say this, that today should not be the last day in which we gather together. There are many occasions where we need to gather and support one another in order to be able to declare Israel's independence as well. And I remember that I was finished off with these words, Hevenu Shalom Halekim. And that means that we bring peace to you. And the way that we bring peace is that by our feet, and when we come to this place, bringing peace is by being present. Bringing peace is by declaring words. Bringing peace is by doing everything we can to declare that the peace will reign in Israel. And that's what we declare. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem Shalom.